Good day. One of the things that students struggle with most when they are creating lessons is assessment. They struggle to assess which type of assessment they should use where. They struggle to understand the differences between the types of assessments, and they struggle to understand assessment tools. So in this video, I am going to try to shed some light on assessment. There are two types of assessment that a teacher uses: formative assessment and summative assessment. When you think of summative assessment, I want you to keep the root word in mind: summary. It's something that comes at the end. So a summative assessment will be an examination, or it will be a portfolio of evidence after a year of continuous assessment. You will never ever do summative assessment as part of a lesson plan. Summative assessment is one big occurrence at the end of a cycle or the end of a year. It is marked with a memorandum. There is usually not feedback given to the students, and it is marked by the teacher. The students do not have an active role after they have performed the summative assessment. When we think about formative assessment, we get two types. We get informal formative assessment and formal formative assessment. Now, informal formative assessment is that thing that the teacher does all the time. When you are explaining something and you ask a few questions, just to check whether the learners understand what you've been teaching them, that is informal formative assessment. When you tell them to quickly write something down or to quickly draw a picture, that is informal formative assessment. This happens during class time. It is not marked, it does not count marks, but it guides you to check whether the learners are on the same page that you are. Informal formative assessment is something that you do not plan per se. A lot of it will happen during the lesson. When you are explaining something and you see that there's more frowns, then you realize, I don't think they quite understand. So let me check whether they understand. If you test prior knowledge at the beginning of the lesson, that is informal formative assessment. It does not count any marks, but you are using it to assess learning and assess how the students are progressing. On the other end, we get formal formative assessment. That is the things that you write in your mark book. So if the students write a test, that is for formal formative assessment because that test does count marks. I use a rubric, I use a memo, they get a mark. If we do an assignment that the teacher marks, it's formal formative assessment. If we do an assignment that they peer review, so my friend will quickly mark my test, but I write it in my mark book, then it is formal formative assessment. So all the formal formative assessment will come together to form the term mark or the participation mark for that learner for a specific time length. So any formal formative assessment you must have marks for. When you think of assessment, it is important that you keep in mind that assessment is not only homework, or assessment is not only that what I give them to do that counts marks. Informal formative assessment is as important because as a teacher, I need to continuously be asking questions. I need to continuously be testing my students' understanding and progress.